Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 has got to be my favorite superhero movie of all time, which I have very fond memories of. I specifically remember waiting an entire summer day at school, being excited the entire day, and finally going to watch it during the evening at the theaters. Did my kid brain care about anything other than that Spider-Man showed up? Absolutely not, but as an adult I have a sort of better understanding, if you will, of the movie, and I still hold this movie in high regard. Now, to be clear, there's an extended sort of version of Spider-Man 2 called Spider-Man 2.1, but in this video I will just review the original. As great 2.1 is, 2 flows better and have better scenes. I will go into spoiler territory, so if you haven't watched Spider-Man 2, what are you even doing? Go watch it. I'm sure you're tired of hearing this at this point, but the best Spider-Man stories are when Peter is torn between being both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. The stories that focus on Peter's personal life. Compared to its predecessor, Spider-Man 2 is less campy, cheesy, corny, whichever word you want to use, and more grounded, but it still treads that very fine comic book line.
I think to myself at times, were I to face the one responsible for what happened, I don't know what I'd do.
He's struggling with keeping 2 jobs.
Please, I need this job. You're fired.
Parker, hello, you're fired.
Keeping up with school.
Get it done, or I'm failing you.
Maintaining relationships.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Long time no see.
Hey, buddy.
Paying.
Grant!
Because being Spider-Man has an impact on everything else going on in his life. Life does not cut Peter a break, he keeps getting knocked down. Sometimes literally, but keeps getting back up. Dr. Connors just casually being in this movie is such a great way to set up a potential future villain. But this Connors never gets a chance to become Lizard.
Brilliant but lazy.
What I really love about Sam Raimi's universe is that lightweight tone felt across the entire trilogy, but maybe more so in Spider-Man 2 than the other 2 movies.
Oh, Rosie, I love this boy.
Thanks.
The comedy is so well timed. From things like Spidey being stuck in an elevator when his powers fail him, or J. Jonah Jameson being, well, J. Jonah Jameson.
Food poisoning scare, Sweep City.
Some food got poisoned?
I'm a little nauseous, yeah.
It doesn't overstay its welcome or gets tiresome. There's just enough comedy to give a few chuckles.
Pizza time.
Except for Jameson, we also get another comic relief in the form of Peter's landlord, Mr. Ditkovich, you know.
Rent?
I just want to add that even Mr. Ditkovich and his daughter Ursula have their own character arcs. They didn't need to, but they have, and makes the world of the movie more alive and believable.
Would you like a piece of chocolate cake?
Okay.
There are some great horror parts too, especially when Doc Ock gets his mechanical arms. This chilling scene is always a bit unsettling to me. It's something straight out of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, chainsaw included. Now that's groovy. Doc Ock's arms kill people in this movie, and that's messed up, especially in this confined room, without anyone turning into skeletons or tripping out the windows. It feels a lot more visceral. Doc Ock before he turns bad, he's just such a nice guy, though the death of his wife during his experiment gone wrong twists him into a grief-stricken mad scientist with 4 mechanical arms welded to his body. Before he turns into the menace of Japan, however, Otto and Peter actually have a chat. Nerdy genius to nerdy genius.
Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift. And you use it for the good of mankind.
Alfred Molina plays him as such a great compelling villain with a messed up backstory. It's a big step away from Willem Dafoe's comic book villain, and I think something about that makes Doc Ock more relatable than Green Goblin in Sam Raimi's universe.
Nobel Prize, Otto. Nobel Prize. We'll all be rich.
It's not about the prizes, Harry.
Now when I think about it, it's funny. Oscorp is in some way responsible for a lot of Spider-Man movie villains. Octavius' fusion experiment is funded by Oscorp, and to help him perform his experiment he's got a pair of AI mechanical arms. It's awesome how EA keeps naming the villains. It feels more organic than the villains saying their name out loud. Sad that they dropped this by the 3rd movie.
What are we gonna call this guy?
Dr. Octopus.
That's crap.
Science Squid?
Crap.
Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. But it's taken. Wait, I got it. Dr. Octopus.
But I like it.
Of course you do. Dr. Octopus. New villain in town. Doc Ock.
Genius.
What are you looking for, a raise? Get out.
Neat reference to Doctor Strange too. Funny how things kind of come in a half full circle-ish. If you're uninformed, Sam Raimi directs Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Anyway, eventually the experiment goes wrong. The Blue Salter ship that was supposed to protect him from the influence of the AI malfunctions. The arms take over and influence Otto, and combined with his grief, he tries to rebuild his failed experiment.
I couldn't have miscalculated. It was working, wasn't it? Yes.
I'm not exactly sure if this Doc Ock is being completely controlled by his arms, but if he was, that will make his character just much more depressing. I've always interpreted it as the arms are more influencing him rather than directly taking control, and Otto is just there unable to do anything as a puppet. The arms do not discriminate, because even very early on we see that Doc Ock is not beyond threatening to murder an old defenseless lady.
What do you mean, we?
Oh.
Upon taking notes for this review, I noticed that during the montage, when Peter is preparing to go to MEA's play, the lyrics are describing probably what exactly Peter is thinking in this moment, and maybe a bit of foreshadowing.
Cool Spidey outfit.
Everyone always points this out, so I might as well do it too.
You serious?
This freaking maniac screaming,
Go, Spidey, go!
There's Connie, and then there's Psychotic.
Go, Spidey, go!
Please throw her into the quantum realm. Bruce Campbell playing the usher always get me though. Just for reference, he played the announcer dude in Spider-Man 1 and another role in Spider-Man 3. I like how the joke doesn't overstay its welcome. Bruce is a master of illusion.
It's a terrible joke. But thank you for coming.
By the way, Kirsten Dunst is actually decent in this movie. Excuse me, but maybe she improved here. I don't know, because she had something to work with maybe. That could maybe be it. I've said previously that she sucked all the way through the trilogy, but I find it hard to dislike her acting here. I just dislike Emma being ass.
Oh, you.
Listen, I'm sorry. But there was a disturbance.
Disturbance? Another disturbance? Oh, there's a disturbance with you. Come on.
She's in the right for telling Peter to shut up because he's being a bit pushy. But she's just being a complete dick about it.
You think just because you saw my play, you can talk me out of getting married?
I understand the goal of all this drama was to throw Peter off and separate the two. It works. I'm just saying it feels a bit forced. Especially after these two shared a couple moments together in the last movie. But now she's just, nah, you suck, bro.
After all these years, he's nothing to me but an empty sea.
And then there's Jon Jameson, that waste of space. I don't hate the actor, I hate the character. I know that's the point, but his entire personality is just big muscles. When Ursula has more of a character arc than Jonas Boy, there's something wrong there. Not everything Sam Raimi creates is gold, alright.
Okay.
I never really cared for his inclusion here. Could have been a way to introduce him as an astronaut, encountering the Venom symbiote for the third movie maybe. Jonah even says Jon is an astronaut, so what happened?
Big party for an American hero. My son, the astronaut.
But could you pay me in advance?
He appears and never reappears. He's just gone. Even Flash Thompson makes a reappearance in Spider-Man 3, but not this guy. Nope. Gone forever.
This is the uniform.
Spidey loses his powers twice because of keeping in his emotions about MJ, and his life just being a mess in general. Spidey losing his powers is a great character arc in the movie. It's a different take on Spider-Man, no more. It's Sam Raimi's vision, and it works.
What was that?
I like how Peter losing his powers is psychological. It makes the character much more human.
My diagnosis? It's up here.
His powers act up again during one of my favorite fight scenes. The scene I'm talking about is a really great scene where Doc Ock first fights Spidey in the bank. It's very iconic and eventually ends in the middle of the street or on the side of a building. Take your pick. During the tussle in the bank, Pete's ability to shoot webs stops working randomly, kind of mirroring Spidey running out of web fluid in something like the comics or the 1994 animated series. I know he's got that organic stuff in the Sam Raimi movies. It's just kind of a neat callback. The strain between Harry and Peter that has slowly been building up since the first movie is what pushes Peter over the edge. Aside from being denied by MJ and probably in general not appreciated as Spider-Man.
Spider-Man won't let me take any more pictures. You've turned the whole city against him.
A fact I'm very proud of.
Harry Osborn, his best friend, starts to hate him too. Albeit he's drunk when he lashes out, believing Peter is protecting Spider-Man from facing justice for killing his dad. That is so powerful, I felt it from here.
Brother?
Seeing the two bros starting to separate hurts. Spidey's powers give up moments after getting completely destroyed by Harry, and I just gotta applaud Sam Raimi for this callback to Spider-Man 1. It's the complete opposite of what happens in that movie. Instead of being able to climb the walls, he just keeps falling back down. Even his vision goes back to being blurry without glasses. What's actually funny is that Peter throwing in the webs makes him happy, and he succeeds much better in life.
Nom 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 nom.
The talk Peter has with Aunt May is yet again another example of how human the trilogy is. Aunt May's reaction isn't just a smile and a nod. She's just angry and in shock and walks away from the table. This stupid scene, Harry just angrily hitting a bunch of pictures of Spider-Man. There's at least one promotional picture of Spider-Man 1 in there, which makes it even funnier. One of the most inspirational parts about Spider-Man is that he continues to save people even when powerless, showing how good of a soul he is. Even without the mask, he is Spider-Man. And not because of some dumb totem that picked him or Spider compatible on with his DNA, but because he chooses to. My favorite quote from Spider-Man 2 doesn't come from Peter or Octavius, even though they have some great quotes. No, it's from Aunt May.
I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride. Even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most.
I'm very sure May knows her nephew is Spider-Man, or at least suspects it. I mean, it's hinted at multiple times in the trilogy. She's always the voice of reason too, kind of convincing Peter to attempt to get his powers back.
My back! Oh, my back!
Peter has a little talk with MJ and now she might have figured out Spider-Man's identity because of those 2 times they ate each other's faces. Doing some research for this review, I know in the comics that he lost his powers because of the flu. Think of it like that. He had the flu, lost his powers, and now he's free of the flu, with his powers back. Otto even says this early on in the movie.
If you keep something as complicated as love stored up inside, it can make you sick.
It's such a simple concept, but it grows into this complex deep dive into the character of Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. And the girlfriend.
Oh, hey now. Doc Ock is kind of juicy. Wait. The amount of detail in this movie. I haven't noticed it until now, but there's some very noticeable scarring on his abdomen after that accident that fused the arms to him. That's so incredible. I notice new things about the trilogy every time I watch it. Spidey coming back has to be the most gratifying moment in the entire trilogy. Him bursting out of the rubble and taking back his suit after Jameson got his grubby hands all over it. Though I find Peter dropping his glasses badass and shows he doesn't need them anymore as they hit the ground and are destroyed. A bit unnecessary, but it's showing he's breaking out of the comfortable cycle of just being Peter Parker. Eventually Spidey catches up to Doc Ock, and what takes place afterwards is my favorite action scene in the movie. Not only do we have a fight, but also lots of things happen in quick succession. Spidey falling off the train and picking himself up. Nice metaphor there, Sam. Rescuing 2 people Doc Ock seats away. Doc Ock knocking out the conductor or driver or whatever he is. Yeah, no, my man should explode like a goddamn watermelon.
You have a train to catch.
Peter trying to stop the train encompasses what it means to be Spider-Man. It's such a significant moment that it has been referenced multiple times throughout Spidey's history in media such as Spider-Man 3 The Game, Spider-Man PS4, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Miles Morales.
That totally worked last time.
Even though the CGI is very much improved in Spider-Man 2. It's again noticeable, but I only noticed it when you get a good look on any digital actors' faces like the train part or Doc Ock in certain areas. The people of New York physically catching and carrying Spidey after he is exhausted gives me chills every time. I love how they rally to protect the person that saved their lives, but Spidey is too tired to fight, so... Let's quickly go back to Harry Osborn, who conveniently have more tritium and gives it to Doc Ock in exchange for Spidey. What? This doesn't make a lot of sense. First off, why does Harry have the one material the bad guy needs sitting around in some safe? Secondly, Doc Ock could just knock out Harry's ass and grab the tritium for himself, but let's just accept these glaring issues. Spidey then goes to rescue MJ and ends up fighting Doc Ock. Man, look at this. This is an Avengers level threat. It could
blow up the city.
Doc Ock recreates the fusion reactor to honor his dead wife and fulfill his life's work. His dream, if you will. Or well, that's how I look at it. And it could pull the entire city towards it if nothing is done about it. Stakes. Wow, amazing. He miscalculated and now he's about to
blow up the city.
It happens to the best of us, Otto. It happens. Every day, my man.
I couldn't have miscalculated. It was working, wasn't it?
I don't know how physics work, but I'd imagine having an artificial sun in a city wouldn't exactly end well. Doc Ock eventually regains control for a moment, but the arms take control again until Peter talks some sense into him. And I think it's cute in a strange way. He tells Otto the same thing Aunt May told him earlier on. By the way, there's a nice little detail here that I saw other people pointing out. The lights on his arms change from red to white when he regains control. I'm not entirely sure if it's implied Doc Ock only planned to pull down the reactor, but not to go down with it. I feel like he said,
I will not die a monster.
because the arms took control for the final time and took him down with them. Am I right or just spouting nonsense? Anyway, Spidey gets the girl in arguably Kirsten's best performance so far in the trilogy. And then we eat face, nom 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 nom. The ending is kind of bittersweet. Amy looks out as Spidey swings away and knows what kind of life she has chosen to live. A life with the person that she loves, but then again, at the same time, Peter will always be Spider-Man. As for Peter, well, he has finally figured out his life and is back to being Spider-Man. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Screw you, John, and your stupid wedding. No caviar for you, you handsome bastard.
Caviar? What are we, inviting the Tsar? Get some cheese and crackers, some of those little cocktail weenies.
No, I didn't forget about Harry. Spooky Norman somehow makes Harry discover his goblin toys. It didn't make much sense to me until I saw what other people think. Some say Harry somehow got exposed to the goblin serum, or Norman still being alive and manipulating his son, or that Norman already was mentally ill even before taking the serum, and it just got worse after taking it, with some of his mental illness passed down to Harry. Or it being Harry just subconsciously having picked up on his father's actions. Theories aside, I like to think it's not that far of a stretch for Harry to subconsciously having picked up on his father's behavior and the board members of the company he inherited getting killed. Harry being set up as the next Goblin was extremely promising and exciting. How badass and scary would it have been in Spider-Man 3 if Harry just had showed up seemingly out of nowhere in an upgraded Green Goblin suit without showing his face, and not this snowboard garbage, and Peter assumes he's Norman coming back from the dead. Anyway, this is what 2 entire movies have been building up to. Spider-Man 2 keeps amping up the action and the stakes, and asks us some important questions like identity and what it means to be human. I can tell a lot of people put a little blood into this because it's so much more refined. The CGI, while a bit scuffed today, was amazing back in 2004. I still love SM1, but the characters, villain, action, and the perfect sprinkles of comedy and horror makes this movie a very damn good superhero movie, and the one I still like over every superhero movie to date. Spider-Man 2 is such an inspiring movie, and if I feel down, I'll pop that sucker in, because no matter how many times life gets us down, we have to keep getting back up, and sometimes we have to give up our dreams to keep living. But if we accept that we don't need to be perfect, we get to lead lives we could be proud of. That is the essence of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 and being Spider-Man, and maybe also it applies a bit to ourselves. Did I really fucking write that? What kind of idiot writes that shit?